That's what these people are doing, using their so-called religion to discriminate against people. If you're opening up a business, you're opening up a business to do business. And that's with everybody in your community. Not to say I picked this person and not that person.
Mr. Sulu has Fazer's head on heavy stun at this point. The state of Indiana is proud of being called the land of Hoosiers, a term that did not originate there, but in other states such as Virginia and the Carolinas. And in some regions, it means country bumpkin. At the moment, the government and people of Indiana are being looked at not as bumpkins by some, but as a population of haters and those seeking to discriminate using the law. Indiana, though, flatly states that is absolutely not the case. As it is all about the optics and the politics, let's welcome back from the Weekly Standard, where he covers issues that always resonate inside the Beltway. Michael Warren joins us. Mike, good to see you again.
Thanks, Ed.
Mike, curious what the repercussions indeed have been and what's being said around the Beltway here, because I'll tell you, Governor Mike Pence looked very uncomfortable in his ABC News interview on Sunday, where he was basically asked a yes or a no question by George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, you get the sense that Mike Pence wasn't really prepared to defend this. And on the one hand, maybe he shouldn't have expected to be. I mean, there are about 20 other states with legislation on the books that is essentially just like the law he signed into law in Indiana. And furthermore, there's a federal law that preceded all of these, signed by President Bill Clinton in the 90s, that enshrines these protections for religious people against government intervention. I think there's been a sort of a misunderstanding about what this law is actually trying to do. It's been sold as sort of a gay discrimination law and a religious freedom in quotes, air quotes kind of law, but actually what it does at the federal level and at the state level is protect religious freedom for people from government intervention, from government that tries to interact. There's actually been very few cases where the RFRA, as it's called, law has been prosecuted, but as there's been all this debate and discussion about gay marriage and whether or not businesses and people should be able to participate or not, laws like this are going to keep coming up, and people like Mike Pence should be able to defend it.
What's the concern, though, around the Beltway and around the people that you speak to with regard to this law, when you consider that there are those who say that, as always, it creates a very slippery slope? As some people have noted, could this then lead to an LGBT couple going into a restaurant and then being refused service by the restaurant owner because they have a religious belief? There is indeed a bit of a slope here, I think, that the governor needs to address.
Yeah, I think he does need to address it. And of course, here in the Beltway and anywhere where you're reading about this, there's a lot of talk about that possibility happening. But if you talk to religious freedom experts in the law, there's a couple of very well-known professors in this. They say that that's simply unlikely to happen or extremely unlikely to happen. On the one hand, we have a very tolerant country, and it's hard to really believe that that situation you brought up would actually happen. But if it did, if that did come to fruition and it went to court, it's very likely that the restaurant owner would lose. I mean, this law does not set it up so that the restaurant owner or any business owner can do whatever they want with regard to discriminating against gay people. This has a very specific and very narrow test for courts to define whether or not somebody is in violation of the law or they are within their rights as Americans to practice their religion freely. It's really a test for courts. Or discriminate, and I think if it were, justified. As it is, it's a very narrow law meant to protect people and discriminate against.
Michael, I only got about 30 seconds left. Governor Pence says he will not look to redress this law and he will not look to make any changes. He made that very clear. Do you think, and do other people think, though, that because of what's happening, this discourse, that he will have to say something or do something to clarify this?
I believe they've already said they're going to do something to clarify it. I don't think they're going to change the law.
Right in the middle of just that exact moment is what happens when you have alien sunspots that happen to rain down on the planet at any given time. Hey, believe me, it sounds a lot better than anything else, actually, but we apologize for the technical errors. We thank Michael Warren from the Weekly Standard being here because we're not done on this just yet. Because this whole Indiana discussion will continue with one who deals with the ground level of the population every single morning. Now, you've heard a lot of what the people in Indiana are saying. This guy's been getting several earfuls on the matter since the law was very quietly and very privately signed into place. And it has the entire nation talking. To Indianapolis we go as MidPoint continues right after this.